The immobile Enchanter archetype has been around for forever, but this specific kind of champion is notoriously not piloted well by almost anybody. I mean, how often are Enchanter champions and their players memed on by the community? Literally every day. And I don't think that's necessarily fair. Enchanters in general may have a low skill floor, but definitely have a very high skill ceiling akin to something like an assassin. Dashes are one of the main reasons why champions can feel forgiving at times. And Enchanters, while powerful even if not played well, don't have any movement abilities, and because of this, turn into an entirely different beast when played by the best players. The same can really be said of any immobile champion, including mages and ADCs. So if you don't want to just play Enchanters, don't worry, this guide will still help you. However, I'd wager that 99% of people watching this have never had an Enchanter truly carry their game in the way that a good Sona, Soraka, or Milio is going to be able to. You really can 1v9 just as hard on these kinds of champions, you just need to know what we're going to teach you today. So we're going to show you the difference between good and bad Enchanters and give you the thing you need in order to play these champions at the highest level. Before we get into it though, if you truly want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then head to skillcap.com. We take the highest priority skills you need to learn to climb ranks fast, such as wave control, and then break it down into a step-by-step course of bite-sized 1 to 2 minute videos that are easy to understand. So while you wait for your next game to start, you can learn freezing, fast pushing, slow pushing, bouncing waves, the list goes on, all in just a few minutes to maximize your improvement rate. These courses have been getting 5-star ratings from all of our users, raving at how helpful they are. That's not all though, as every week we release 10 brand new Smurf commentaries where a challenger player teaches you how to climb out of the exact rank you're stuck in. If you're looking for something more personal instead, then we've got you covered with one-on-one coaching from our trained challenger experts. All of this seemed too good to be true? Well, don't worry. We're backed by a rank up guarantee. If you don't significantly improve while actively using Skillcapped, then you get your money back, no questions asked. So, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below and get the rank you've always wanted. Alright, now let's get into today's guide. To start, we need to first understand what the problem actually is. I think it's really two parts. One is that the Enchanter players in particular probably play those champions because they want to, support people. But this in turn tends to create some issues in how they play. Let's look at one of my students as he pilots Sona in Gold Elo. Sona and Lucian are winning lane pretty hard at this point, with Blitz and Ezreal being forced in tower at low health. However, this changes when Ahri roams towards bottom. At this point, he is aware that Ahri is here and starts immediately clicking away. Unfortunately, Lucian isn't quite as aware and spends some time trying to hit minions, and now he's in range of Ahri and starts trying to juke the charm, clicking down here. Sona now finds herself in a position where she could just leave, but in doing so, would allow Ahri to go after Lucian for free. Or she can turn around and try to help Lucian get out by hitting Ahri or trying to block skill shots. In these spots, Enchanters will often just choose to help their teammates, and you can see that this happens in this game. He ends up taking the charm for Lucian, and then once getting out of the fight alive, actually tries to turn back here to help again, only to get ignited and die. If we go straight to Challenger to compare how a high elo player is going to tackle a scenario like this, you'll see a massive difference. Achilles is hitting tower with his ADC and backs up slightly before Twitch. Unfortunately, Nami starts coming from above looking for a fight, and now we have to make a similar decision to before. Walk forward to create space for Twitch and zone Nami, or just back off to safety. You'll see that after using his spells, he immediately inputs a click backwards, and even once Lucian shows up, you can see that his immediate response is still to click backwards and prioritize his own safety. Even though Twitch looks like he's really out of position here, and he is, Seraphine is completely safe. She only clicks forward once Nami is completely out of the fight, and now they have a 2v1. I think this just goes to show the difference in mentality between high and low elo enchanters. Whenever you fly on a plane, one of the first things they always tell you is that in case of an emergency, put your own oxygen mask on before assisting others. Enchanters are basically the helpers of the team, but if you don't make sure your own safety is secure first, you're just another liability. This is not to say that you should sit 3 screens away and never risk dying at all. After all, Achilles does click back in to fight the Lucian after Nami's death. It's not like he's ignoring his ADC, but he is making sure that he puts on his metaphorical oxygen mask first before helping. If you just rush in to help right away, you're not actually going to be able to do your job. It's many people's first response to just assist immediately, and we can watch another part of the gold game to show that. My student starts clearing a ward in Dragon Pit, and then upon seeing Blitz, immediately knows that he needs to run to safety. Obviously, we could go to our own tower here and get out, but Lucian is hitting tower and apparently doesn't see Blitz running to him. Listen into the game here, and you can hear how distraught I was over his choice to turn back and try and zone. Ping Lucian, ping Lucian. Yep, great. Leave, 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 leave. Do not be here.
Yeah.
Just walk away. Just go to straight to tower. I don't care if Lucian dies. Just ditch his ass. Of course, the real answer is not to completely ditch, but I couldn't explain it in enough detail during the game, which is why we're doing it now. Essentially, if I turn to help Lucian with Blitz here, I'm putting myself in direct threat of Shaco. Enchanters are the squishiest champions in the game generally, Sona and Yuumi being the most paper-like with the lowest base stats. But I think we all know how obnoxious these champions are if they just don't die. To be as strong as we can be, we just have to be alive. Our existence alone just provides the team with so much value through auras, heals, and buffs. If we're valuing our own safety, we should just allow Shaco to walk past us. And once he and everyone else is on one side of the fight, we can turn to assist again. Once Shaco walks towards Lucian and uses his Q, the threat on us at this point is minimal. We can identify that all of the threats are going to come from our right, and we have all of the room in the world now to run out to the left. Now, and only now that we've guaranteed an escape route, is it safe to turn in and maybe try to help with whatever spells we have. Of course, Lucian gets really mad and spam pings Sona's R here, which yes, it's possible that it could have done something here, but in general, I prefer this outcome over him dying as well, trying to help. I don't care what he's saying for you to do there. You need to not position in a way that's gonna kill yourself, because like, you try to stand next to him and then he just dies because he's too far out of position. It really doesn't matter if you want to help someone that's inting or not. If you don't secure your own safety first, you're not going to be able to help them either. This replay comes from a Grandmaster Sona, and you can see the positioning in the fight often leaves her unable to hit anyone for a bit. But due to this, she's never really at risk of dying, ever. She always has a very clear escape route and never gets surrounded by enemies until the very end when they're finishing off the last kill. So the positioning in the fights is definitely one problem. When you see the threats and know to prioritize your own safety first, you're going to be a lot more useful to your team than if you end up trying to sacrifice yourself to save someone else. So the second problem is that many players don't actually assess threats correctly, especially for those that they don't see. After all, if you just see people too late, it doesn't matter how well you position. They could just be on all sides of you at once, and then you're going to die no matter what. Let's go back into the gold game, and you'll see this pop up when I'm probing him with questions. We don't need to chase that guy around. Where does the enemy want to be right now? Baron, right?
Yeah, Baron's the only thing up right now.
Exactly. Can you solo face check and not die? Who can be
Definitely
here?
not.
When enemies are off map, you have to constantly ask yourself the question, where are my opponents and where are they going to come from? In this spot, he has no idea of the area to his right, the bushes in front of him, and generally lacks a lot of safety right now. His best location to go would be towards Jax, since he already made sure there was no one in the bushes to the left. But you can see that even with me asking the questions, he had no problem wanting to walk in on his own like this. Of course, now that he's already made it this far, you might as well take the chance to ward. Ward here, ward. You already made it all the way, you might as well ward, you know? If you're gonna get that far. And you can pink ward the pit or something and clear it out, because now it's a little safer, right? But we always just have to be like, where is the enemy, right? Where can they come from? You can hit it, you can hit it, you can hit it. Look, you have good wards, right? So if someone comes, you run up towards Jax. In my head, I've already made the mental note that Jax is where my safety is, and I know the spot that I want to kite towards in the case of danger. But you can see that his first click in this fight is towards his teammate who's in trouble, Viego. Sit back, sit back, sit back, sit back. Kite to safety. Safety is up, right? Go up. Keep going up. You see why I had that marked out from the very start is like, where am I gonna run to, right? I was already thinking it like way before it happened. This instinct is something that you need to build up to in fights. Without my instruction here, he would have likely died immediately and not been of any use in the skirmish. Just you being alive is obnoxious to the enemy. So obviously, not seeing people makes fights a bit harder, but fortunately, we are the person that is able to actually place wards and get that vision in the first place. When we're thinking about warding areas, we need to ask two questions. Where is it currently safe to go, and where do I actually need the wards? Since Dragon is the main objective right now, that's likely our highest priority. But with the Pixel Brush and Banana Brush being unsafe, we can't exactly walk in on our own without thinking. Don't autopilot to the drag. Ask yourself if it's something you're actually going to do and where you can walk in from, because you cannot solo face check it Sona, right? If your team's going, you
Yeah.
just sweep here because it's warded here. We saw Blitz going. And now we can go. Yeah. But let's ward where they're going to come from. You see where Blitz is right now. So just ward the wall. I know, like, there's a pink there, but that's fine. You'll notice that I'm not telling him specifically where to ward. I'm just telling him to place vision where he thinks he's going to need it. And what does happen is that he doesn't quite register that the area to his right isn't safe either. There are often gaps in his vision that aren't immediately alarming to him. If we look forward a bit to the next objective, Rift Herald, and look at the map, I think it's fair to assume that if Blitz were coming to the play, he would be able to walk like this, meaning we should try and cover over the wall here with a ward to already scout that out. But you can hear the confusion when I bring this up again. He's not quite sure what I'm trying to get him to do. Objectives here, where are they gonna go to?
They're walking
Over the wall, ward. Down. Look at where Blitz is coming from right now, right? We need to be able to like see that and be like, where are they gonna walk from? Because that's the area needs to be warded, right? Like we can see them all coming from bot side. And then moments later, this happens. Okay, great. Don't walk this way. That is how to die to a Blitzcrank 101. This spot is likely just one of his blind spots. Not only did he not really think to place a ward earlier at all, but he didn't account for the fact that his earlier ward was cleared over the wall, and that he no longer knows where Blitz is. It was a mistake that could have very well been fatal. And I do want to take a moment to say that these mistakes might seem obvious because we're pointing them out in a video. But if you take the time to look through your own replays, as well as even replays of Diamond players, you're going to see this exact kind of mistake all the time. It's literally the most common problem and something that gets people killed all the time. This is not just a gold problem or this specific player's weakness. It really is something I see every day. And even if you're not the one losing track of your enemies, your teammates definitely are going to. We can look at another instance in this game where we needed to place wards and also acknowledge the gaps in a vision. Okay, who can be here? Where are they going to come from? Because that's where we need to ward, right?
Top,
Yeah,
I think.
there you go. See, you know the answer. You just have to ask a question. I'm not telling you what to do there. I'm just straight up telling you, like, you need to be aware of it, right? So, like, let's just walk away. Let's walk away. Ping them, right? We knew they were coming from top side. If they're gone off map, we just assume they are coming. Like, there's no reason to risk it. Even with this war, they were missing a huge section of information, which happens to be exactly the route that Ari took to get towards mid. Without the encouragement to leave, it's very possible that him and his team would have lost track of where Ari was, as we didn't have vision of her. But if you're paying attention and always asking where you can get collapsed on, your games will go a lot smoother. Identify where your escape route is, and if you don't have one in a fight, then you probably shouldn't be taking the fight in the first place. Even in the middle of complex fights, we can't lose track of this sort of thing. While the initial positioning in a skirmish is good, once we get further into their jungle, we have to acknowledge that we don't know where their team is anymore. We should be very concerned with the fact that Ari is missing here. Is she going to come from below us to the right, maybe over the wall? We should try to ward over and then position in a way so that even if Ari is in either spot, we're able to easily survive. This doesn't happen, and fortunately Ari doesn't capitalize, but that doesn't mean we should just forget about it. Don't overextend, just sit back. You're playing backline here. We don't have our Lucian, so this fight's not actually like just auto one. I have to play it really slow. Once we get to here, we're going to run into a similar problem from before. Jax commits pretty deep right now, but if we move forward, it might allow Ezreal to get a 1v1 with us, which we do not want. We basically need to draw a line in our heads of where we cannot walk past, and even if Jax overextends, we are still going to prioritize our own safety. This kind of play can feel extremely unintuitive at times, or it can feel like you're just playing way too safe. But this single fix is going to immediately make your game impact go up tenfold. The bottom game is the first game that we did coaching, and then just look at the streak he went on right after. Simply identifying that this was a major problem and trying to fix it improved his play drastically. So just to recap, prioritize your own safety before anything else. If you can help, then do so, but make sure you're in a position to assist beforehand. Also, consider your vision. Think about the gaps in your information and where enemies can come from. If you can get wards safely, do it, but if not, play like it. Expect the worst case scenario. Assume that if someone can be in a bush, that they are, and don't put yourself in unnecessarily risky places. And that's it. It may seem simple, but unless you're actively thinking of this, chances are you aren't doing it. It really is the biggest difference I noticed between high and low elo enchanters, and it's the first step you need if you want to truly carry on these champs. And remember, if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out skillcapped.com. It's completely risk-free to try out, as you're kept safe with rank up insurance. If you don't significantly improve while actively using Skillcapped, then you get your money back, no questions asked. Check us out with the link in the description below and get the rank you've always wanted. Alright guys, we here at Skillcapped want to thank you for watching, good luck on Summoner's Rift, and we'll catch you in the next one.